That's right, the gift that keeps on giving the whole year round. Libs of TikTok. And this time around, we'll be delving even deeper to what these scholarly minds think about race and racism in the world. And I gotta tell you right now, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. But before we get into that, I'm pretty sure this first clip here, this is Megan Rapinoe's mom, right?
We really need to stop pushing these Trump-thumping, anti-vaxxer Republican fucksticks into getting this vaccine. I mean, come on. I mean, just think about it. What a wonderful world it would be without them.
Sheesh, the resemblance is just uncanny. It's amazing. Anyway, for the 6th time, allow me to be the Virgil to your Dante as we descend even further into the hell that is TikTok. It's a world of amazing depravity that even Dante Alighieri himself could not have imagined. Let's get into it.
Tell me when you realized white privilege was a thing. I'll go first.
All right, we've already got the self-important smile, that smirk down. I'm sure, absolutely true story inbound.
When I was in elementary school, one of my teachers kept picking on the only black boy in my class.
What year was this? You don't look old enough for that to have actually happened in your lifetime. That's the only compliment you're going to get from me, too.
She would often send him to the principal's office, calling him an instigator, even though he never really did anything wrong. He's a little boy. So one day after she yelled at him, I got pretty pissed off about it. And when she turned around to write on the board, I grabbed my plum and I threw it at her. The plum hit the board and it exploded everywhere.
God, the amount of smug self-righteousness. I mean, this did not happen. Just stop. Just stop, okay? Knock it off.
To my surprise, she turned around and started yelling at him, even though the plum came from a different direction. She then told him to go to the office, so I stood up and I let her know that it was me who had thrown the plum, and I dared her to send me to the office so I could tell the principal how racist she was.
Bullshit. You know, we already knew this was a lie, but now we really know that this is a lie.
I was really confused when she didn't send me to the office. So how was it that a little black boy who was just there to learn, who literally never really did anything wrong, seemed to be more of a threat to her than somebody who literally threw a plum at her?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to press X to doubt on this one. Not buying it. Next.
I love my new school. My hair hasn't been a problem. And I taught a lesson last week where we read the first letter from the book Dear Martin. You know, the one where he realizes that he was arrested for no reason because he was black, even though he thought he was exempt because he wasn't one of those kinds of people who that happens to.
You know, everyone has been upset recently about what these teachers are teaching in our schools. I actually think to me, it's more offensive that we have teachers that can't actually form coherent sentences and have to jump cut every single word that they say. How can you be a teacher and not be able to form a coherent thought? God.
But it turns out that doesn't matter because of the prejudice in the criminal justice system. And we discussed that. This lesson was developed by the English department and approved by the overseer of the English department. Imagine that, getting to talk about and discuss things relative to the students' lives, regardless of how some people might feel about it.
Yes, some people. She says it like it's just some random, guy off the street. It's the parents, okay? We're talking about the parents. Let's just be clear about that. And a lot of people recently have been wondering, are the higher-ups allowing this, or are they just unaware? Well, there you go. They are aware, and they're supporting it. Do with that information what you will.
Because the people who would be offended are the bad guys. It's just so refreshing for there to be some open-mindedness, to be able to teach something meaningful.
What has happened? Oh, you know that particle collider thing? That was in 2015. I'm pretty sure it did fracture space and time, and this is the result.
If you're a non-white person and you've dated a white person, stitch this and tell me the wildest thing they've ever said to you. I'll go first. I'm already going to break the rules because it's not necessarily something he said per se, It was a number of things, but it was more how I felt. He was the sweetest, nicest guy ever, okay? But like just typical cishet, able-bodied white man. Like just so ignorant to the world outside of that perspective.
That whole thing was literally filled with nothing but red flags. I now know that everything else that's about to come out of your mouth in this story is stupid.
The point where I was like, okay, if we're gonna get more serious, I'm gonna have to make sure you're cultured. So I sat him down and we watched an episode of The Boondocks. And
How is she gonna act like the Boondocks is something that only black people have ever heard of? It was on like the prime time lineup of Adult Swim for like 6 years. What? You see, I already see red flags. Everything you're about to say is just totally stupid. I told you.
And needless to say, he was a little traumatized. Anyways, a couple months went by and I was like, all right, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I could date a white man. I can't. And it was time to break up with him. Again, he was so nice. He was so freaking nice. But like, I was terrified of going over to break up with him.
We went from he was uncultured because he didn't like the Boondocks to now you're terrified. What?
Point where I sent a bunch of my friends my location and I was like, if I don't text you in an hour, come and get me, something's wrong. I genuinely thought he was gonna like lock me up in his basement. Granted, I had just recently watched the movie Get Out, but like white male rage is no joke. I was terrified.
None of those thoughts went together coherently at all. None of them. There was not a line between any of those points anywhere. Not even on accident once. I mean, you just described your own racism. You described your own problem. That has nothing to do with him. You said he was great, and then you were like, I made up a bunch of shit in my head. Oh, God, run. It's because he's white. White male rage.
So I live on the south side of Chicago, and for those of you who are not familiar with Chicago, I live in a predominantly black area. And since coming out as non-binary, I have faced this conundrum that I'm still trying to figure out. So whenever black men see me, they always, and this has not failed a single time.
Speaking in absolutes, I'm now suspicious of what you're about to say.
They always call me brother. And sometimes they'll step back and they will just straight up ask me, do you want me to call you brother or do you want me to call you sister? And I will tell them and they will go on respecting what I have just told them.
Oh, come on. That isn't true. I'm sure you probably know people who do that, but that has nothing to do with whether they're black or white. God, you are racist.
And this just boggles my mind because...
All right, this is kind of unrelated, but go back and watch any of my other TikTok videos. They all do this click thing. How do you do? Yeah, that. And if you haven't noticed this, you're going to notice it all the time now.
White folks, I don't know what it is. I can introduce myself. I can tell them my pronouns. I can tell them how I want to be identified. And they will just go on fucking it up, even after I've corrected them multiple times. I don't know what the magic is that black men possess that they can just see my identity and they respect it, but it makes me feel so seen and safe and respected. So we got to spread that shit to the rest of the world.
God, you were so racist. I can't imagine looking at everything in my life having to do with everyone's skin color around me. That just sounds stupid. Another kind of just aside, I'm just nitpicking here now. Why do they all say folks? White folks, black folks. That was never really a prominent thing. I live in the South. I used to hear that, but now it's like everywhere. Media says it. Celebrities say it. It's all over the country. And it's usually these liberal social justice types that use it. I don't get it. And they have to spell it Folx. I don't know. It's at this point, it's just, I've watched so many of these. Just everything they do annoys me now.